Good morning, and welcome to All People's Church Unitarian Universalist. My name is Marianne Clark, and I am your co-celebrant this morning. Our minister, Lori King Nelson, is in the pulpit. All People's Church is more than a place to gather on Sundays. It is a community, a spiritual home where you may develop and deepen your gifts. We gather to feed our minds and our souls, that we may each become blessings to our families, to our friends, and to the larger world around us. We understand that church is not something outside us, but something between us. What is holy here is our relationship with each other as we come together and support each other in our spiritual development. We especially welcome those of you who are visiting today. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door, where you can be placed on our mailing list to receive our weekly emails and our monthly newsletter. Before we continue on to worship, we got a little string of announcements. There are 5 announcements, and the first one is Patrick's, and he is going to make it from invisibility.
Oh, hello. This is the all-powerful and wonderful Patrick talking from behind the little box here. I want to make an announcement about the 25-cent Saturday movie matinee. It's going to be Saturday, July the 26th at 3:30 p.m. in Jagger's Parlor. There is no admission fee because we don't want to be dogged by the media mogul's lawyers. But popcorn is 25 cents, candy is 25 cents, and drinks are 25 cents. And the suggested titles that we have so far are Back to the Future, To Kill a Mockingbird, Lego Batman, Casablanca, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Wicked, The Wizard of Oz, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, and Inside Out. I am trying to decide what to show. So next week I'm going to post a list, and you can see and vote on that list, and only vote if you're going to show up. If you're not going to show up, we don't care. Okay.
Thanks.
And at any rate, since we're UUs, we'll meet and vote on it in the next couple of weeks, at least sometime before we show the movie, so we can tell people what the movie is. Thank you very much.
The Powerful Oz.
Thank you, Patrick, and we're looking forward to that. Joe Burnham has an announcement.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Marianne. Well, it's the second Sunday of the month, and everybody that knows me knows I'm going to be begging for dollars for Don't Forget to Feed Me. Even $1 helps. We did so well last month, and I would just love to give all of you an applause. We donated $160 to Don't Forget to Feed Me last month, and that is so good. And it's so worthy that children and elderly and disabled and just regular people and homeless people don't have to give up their pets, because there is dog and cat food available at the food banks and through Meals on Wheels. And it's just an amazing organization. And this church is so supportive of this charity. And we are so grateful, and all of the animals are grateful. And I would like to thank you in advance. And if you just got $1 or $2 in your pocket that doesn't know where it wants to go, I will happily take it off your hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Our third announcement is I found this unused hearing aid battery up here on the floor. If it belongs to anybody, you know where to find it. If it doesn't belong to anybody, I may take it home and put it in my hearing aid. A couple of music-related announcements. First, choir rehearsal will begin again on the 23rd of July, Wednesday the 23rd of July. We won't sing again until the first week of August, but we need to rehearse a little before we start again. And today, Misha will be playing through all of the hymns, sort of a preview of each hymn before we sing them. So let him get all the way through it and then start to sing. And now, please settle comfortably for our musical prelude.
Thank you, Misha. I think we're hearing a delayed, yeah. But that's okay, the music was so beautiful, why can't we hear it twice? Yes. We'll just start over. Before I move into our opening words, could I get someone to bring me the Book of Memory and Hope? All right. Let's call ourselves to worship. In this space of shared intention, may we be held by grace and guided by understanding as we seek truth and meaning together. Thank you.
We now invite you to rise in body or spirit for the chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and our spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words were written by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out, and is rekindled by a spark from another person, each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Please join now in listening to our hymn of the month for July, and then we will sing it. Number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden. Please join now in our affirmation. The words are in the order of service and also projected on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. The young and the young at heart are now invited to come forward for our time for all ages here at the front of the chancel.
Sounds like I'm going to have to, no one's out there? They're having balloon wars. Wait, and you're missing it? I had no idea. Look, my feelings won't be hurt if you go for the balloon war, because I would. I know. Y'all didn't get the invitation. So the last time that I spoke with the youth, we were talking about our affirmation. And do y'all know it by heart?
What?
Do y'all know it by heart?
You've been here for a while, so yes.
Yeah, I would think you would. So the younger ones don't know it, and I thought that it would be a good idea to kind of help them understand it. But then after we read through it and talked about it and everything, I was like, they probably have no idea what some of those words mean. Like, pick a word in there, and yeah. Doctrine. Mm-hmm. Sacrament. Dwell. Right? So I thought maybe we'll take one line each time and we'll talk about the words we don't understand. And this week would be the first line, and that would be doctrine. Do you know what doctrine means? Okay, you understand the word, but you don't have a definition. Would somebody like to give me a definition of doctrine as it pertains to our church? Teachings? Rules? Philosophy? Exactly, yeah. Rules, lessons, beliefs. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. So, so the first is that love is that rule or that belief of this church. And so let's say it together. The whole thing. You're good. They're going to join us. It's not just going to be us. I promise. Okay? So
It'd be a little awkward.
It would be real awkward. So love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus we do covenant with one another. Okay, and I think that we know what the word covenant means. Yeah. So we always know that we're ending this, that we are reinforcing.
To be fair, I didn't know for a long time.
Yeah, well, I didn't know for a long time either. We learn things, and that's why we're here and learning things about our church and what our beliefs are, so that we can carry that inside us out into the world. So, next time, we're going to be talking about sacrament, and maybe y'all can help me out with that. Y'all can kind of look up some good definitions for it, and to help the younger kids understand what that means.
If the younger kids will end up being here.
If they're not at another balloon war. Yes. We don't know what this summer is bringing. All right. Thank you for coming down and talking with me about doctrine and reading our affirmation together. We'll sing the two of you back to your seats or wherever you're going.
The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. It is our custom to share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week. We do this on a quarterly basis for a nonprofit or charitable institution. Our current Share the Plate recipient is Eastside Community Assistance, also known as Eastside Ministries. If you prefer, donations can be made using the QR code that is on the back of the order of service. The offering will now be accepted. Will the ushers please come forward?
That was absolutely lovely. So our reading words this morning kind of come from me. Reflecting on grace and understanding involves recognizing the unmerited favor and compassion extended to us, and then striving to extend that same grace and understanding to others. It means acknowledging our imperfections and those of others, while also recognizing the inherent worth and potential for growth in everyone. This reflection process can lead to personal transformation, fostering forgiveness, empathy, and a more compassionate outlook on life. Will you rise as you are willing or able in body or spirit, and join us in the second hymn, Down the Ages We Have Trod. And remember that Misha is going to play it through once before we join in. At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week there's a journal outside the entrance of the sanctuary where you can write a message of memory or hope. We honor these messages by lighting 3 candles here next to our chalice. Also, at any time during our service, you're welcome to come forward and light a candle in the meditation center here next to the chancel. Today, from our Book of Memory and Hope, we include the following. Sherry Husband's older brother, Steve Bay, passed away from a heart attack. Please keep Sherry's family in your thoughts. And I know that all of us are also keeping the Hill Country in our hearts as they try to rebuild from this unimaginable loss that they've experienced this past week. Our meditation words are by Lori Stevens. I invite you into a body scan meditation. You may close your eyes or let them rest low as you wish. Settle deeper into your body, into this moment. Focus your attention on the parts of the body which are closest to the earth. Scan your attention slowly upwards. Focus your attention in the center of the body where air becomes breath, where what is not you becomes you, where the line between blurs in a flow without ceasing. Scan your attention slowly upwards. Focus your attention at the top of the body where feeling becomes thought and thought becomes action, where action begins to change the world. Now that we have enjoyed the quiet, connected to our bodies, and noticed how we are connected to the world around us, may we remember that connection with every breath. Let us now pause for a few moments of quiet meditation to hold and uplift the sorrows and celebrations, both spoken and unspoken, among us. And then Misha will lift our hearts with music. It was so meditative that I'm not sure I can come back from that. So give me just a moment to prepare all these things I have next to me. I'm going to teach you about real and total freedom. You just need to send a prayer request and your vow. I'd been trying for several years to get Peter Popoff to respond to my request for his miracle spring water. I used a number of names, never my own, of course, and yet, day after day, there was no response. Until one day, I found myself in possession of not the miracle spring water, but the even more miracle-inducing Bethlehem anointing oil. So, it's exciting. It is. So, here it is. Never opened it. It comes with a plastic glove that gave me pause. So, it was a grand day, more than I could have hoped for. The accompanying letter said that God had instructed him to make this letter short and to the point. So, 3-page letter told me that God had instructed him, after lengthy prayer, to rush me the Bethlehem Secret Healing Touch and Prosperity Oil. So there it was, the oil and the glove, with instructions to use the glove to anoint myself before bed, and then upon waking the next morning, put the glove in the provided envelope and mail it back to him so he can give me God's prophetic word about my life. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do with the glove overnight, especially since the letter said in all caps to not let it touch anything else, ! I was also supposed to mail back the completed questionnaire, that wanted to know how long Satan had been tormenting me with financial attacks. Yeah. So he was covering everything. I hesitated to put the glove in the envelope because I hesitated to put the questionnaire in the envelope with the glove because he had made it very clear that nothing was to touch the glove. So I added a note releasing myself from liability if this jeopardized my forthcoming miracle. Page 3 was God's miracle harvest checklist, which instructed me to stretch my faith and obey God today by making a sacrificial faith seed toward my vow of faith. This would be in the form of cash, check, or money order. I believe you can also send along your credit card information. Just send the amount God is telling you, but God suggests at least $100. I kid you not. You're welcome to read all of this stuff. Now, that's supposed to go in the envelope with the questionnaire, the checklist, and the used glove. I added another note that covered the 2 additional items in the envelope. About a month later, I received a letter that included a sealed Bethlehem Secret Healing Touch envelope and gold prosperity wallet. Right? The things were getting better. So the instructions said to put the secret envelope, this is the secret envelope, it says do not open in really large letters. Put the secret envelope in my Bible at 1 Corinthians 12:9 for 3 days in order to transfer God's healing power gifts. Does anybody Anybody know what 1 Corinthians 12:9 is? Yeah, probably not here. It is, excuse me, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit. So Peter Popoff is kind of saying that he has permissions and gifts directly from above to be doing all of this. So he's covered himself. Under no circumstances was I to open this envelope before the 3 days was up, but that I needed to place $300 in the golden wallet and return it to him ASAP. Like, he needed it by December 11th, or as close as possible to that date, so that he could break the chains of trouble around me, because this is my moment. This is it! Exclamation point. Again, all caps. No, but us old people, we like all caps, so. This one also had a checklist to be returned with the wallet. The sealed Bethlehem Secret Healing Touch envelope had, because I opened it, it had another request for money so that God could break that chain of trouble that dependency on money brings. So I'll be better by giving it all to him. Yeah. So I'm not going to throw him under the bus for scamming people out of their money. As long as people have been having money, there have been people working hard to part them from it. Jim Jones, a Disciples of Christ minister, parted people from their money and their lives. In the 5th century AD, Moses of Crete, an apocalyptic prophet, claimed he was the Jewish Messiah. People gave him all their belongings and then followed him to a cliff overlooking the sea and threw themselves off. Those that didn't die from hitting the rocks below drowned. False prophets have been a dime a dozen. Heaven's Gate, the Manson family, the Oneida community, there's one that you should look up if you don't know about them. The list is endless, but maybe these are teaching moments in time, highlighting the things we need to avoid or change. Maybe faith isn't supposed to be a commodity or a franchise. But we are supposed to respect everyone's beliefs, even when we disagree with them. And we should, right? As long as people are worshiping voluntarily, with free will to leave should they desire. Many windows, one light. There are so many faiths with so many sects to choose from. Buddhism has 3 main groups with many subsects. Hinduism has 4. Judaism has 7 to 10. Islam has grown to nearly 100 subsects. And then there's Christianity, with somewhere around 60,000 denominations worldwide. Yeah, they cornered the market. If there is a faith thought you're having, it's probably already out there. Richard Rohr said, "We do not think ourselves into new ways of living. We live ourselves into new ways of thinking." I'm going to say that again. We do not think ourselves into new ways of living. We live ourselves into new ways of thinking. That was a truth for Jews between the First and Second Temple period. Life changed dramatically between Persian rule and Roman conquest, with many Jewish groups creating isolated communities to preserve their faith and culture practices from being diluted by outside cultures. I venture to say that religion is driven by changing culture. It is a truth for Amish, Mennonite, and fundamentalist Latter-day Saints communities as well. As odd as we might think their practices, It is still a choice to believe and practice as they wish and as their faith structure compels them to. We are free to believe or not believe. Our choice. Faith, whether out in the world or here in this church, it can be a life-giving mystery box where you're not sure what you're going to get because you're getting into something that's a little bit of everything. The opposite is true as well. Faith can be life-taking when not used properly. My faith tells me to start and end with love because that will always let me live myself into a new way of thinking. This past week challenged me on that, though. I had been scrolling through TikTok, which I do every single day, seeing videos of the floods, the destruction, the tremendous loss of life, the dramatic rescues, the incredible acts of kindness. And then came a video of a woman talking about Camp Mystic and the children who had drowned or were still missing. She spoke of how the camp was for white, wealthy Christian girls. I think the term used was Texas royalty. And that the media coverage and lengthy search and rescue operation would not have been the same had the children have been of color. At this point in the video, I agreed with her, having seen this time and again in how racism rears its ugly and dangerous head in our culture and our faith. While I felt the timing of her message was inappropriate, her point was well made and well taken. She spoke some very harsh truths about the reality of our racist culture and about Christianity. Then she finished the video by saying she hoped all of the children were dead and used words I will not share here. I sat in shocked silence for several minutes, trying to make sense of how she chose to end that video. That mystery gift box of life gives each of us vastly different experiences. And those experiences shape our responses to life events. She was responding as a Black woman who had experienced this inequality, this discrepancy in valuing human life, and she was speaking her truth, our truth. By the next day, while I continued to struggle with this, the response videos began to appear on my FYP, and they were harsh. Actually, harsh isn't descriptive enough. The responses were cruel, violent, and racist. She was identified almost immediately, and immediately again lost her position on the board of a really important nonprofit in Houston. She began receiving death threats. Then the death threats were extended to her partner, the senior minister of First UU Houston. By Wednesday, the threats were being received at Houston area UU churches. By Friday, I knew I would need to address this because my own feelings were still so unclear around this. My thoughts kept returning to this video of a white woman, Christian, I assume, from the crucifix hanging from a dainty chain around her neck, screaming the worst obscenities and praying God would strike that woman dead for being a Black, murderous, hate-filled racist that wanted to kill white children. That is the daily experience of our Black communities, especially here in Texas. When the self-righteousness of white conservative religion is added, it creates exactly what the original poster, Sade Perkins, was speaking to: the disparity and inequity along racial and religious lines. Suddenly, my feelings were crystal clear. And while I continue to feel her timing and ending words were poor choices, I understand and applaud her for speaking out against the hypocrisy that our religions can express without shame. I get it. I get it. And I'm so sorry that we have filled this planet with thousands of faith systems that do nothing to end conflict, hate, and disparity. And I am so glad our faith teaches us to begin and end all of our interactions with love. We live in a time where social media can create greater divides by skewing and distorting responses. And this is especially true when race and religion are factors. Our faith guides us to offer grace and understanding as we form our responses to events in our lives and events that come to us through social media. Every faith system I have studied has, at their core, rules or laws to live by, doctrines, love, kindness, grace. Religions are built around these core values. Practicing our values daily is, in this time of open hate, perhaps the most important thing we can do for one another. The opportunities present themselves throughout our days, opportunities to be a real blessing and not a 2-week miracle blessing that requires envelopes, gloves, and money. Real blessings that don't lead anyone off cliffs. Blessings that encourage others to pay it forward instead of paying it back. I don't think it's asking too much to behave in such a way that when someone says your religion is showing, it's actually a compliment. We can make our faith a mystery gift box filled with love words and grace actions spread freely and frequently across understanding responses. Many windows, one light. Let us live ourselves into a new way of thinking. Will you rise in body or spirit and join us in the closing hymn, number 114, Forward Through the Ages.
Our chalice extinguishing words are from Amy Zucker Morgenstern. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all our lives and sharing it with the world.
I want to let y'all know that everyone who threw out an answer when I asked for definitions of doctrine, y'all won something, okay? You won a free snack available to us right after lunch. Actually, I would like for you to come and see me, the ones who did throw something out, because I really do have something for you. It's more than just goodies. As we end our time together today in spiritual community, may we depart this sacred space knowing that blessings shall follow us all the days of our lives if we live in and return to right relationships. If we extend grace and forgiveness to ourselves and others, if we behold mercy as a spiritual superpower, if we emanate the greater love that holds us close, may our lives radiate the blessings that we have been given. May kindness and compassion fall gently from us. May there be peace in the world, and may it begin again with us. Thank you to Rebecca Savage for those beautiful words. Now, service is over, and it's time to join us in the library at the back of the sanctuary for coffee and conversation.